they have power, or maybe you're standing up for them, you're advocating for them. Because raise your flag has a connotation of being a Philippine representative, of course. The main thing people about is me in Miss Universe when I first sent that answer of raise your flag. But RYF to me is really a call to action. It's a battle cry. It's something that one does to uplift another, or a cause that they maybe believe in, or something that they want to elevate.
Wow. And it looks like it's really resonating with everyone because I have here on Kumu, Rian says, RYF is just so inspiring. PM says her song resonates with me as a person. Shai says, very empowering. And yeah, so a lot of them are, oh, okay. Nona just sent the Miss Kumu Universe and a song request. Oh, I'm not sure if we're gonna get the song request today, but you actually have to keep watching it on YouTube, Spotify, where else?
All digital music streaming platforms. So even on iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube Music, it's there. And thank you to everyone who's been sending in their comments and love. I love reading the comments about how you guys really resonate with RYF, how it speaks to you, what it means to you, because it really is open to interpretation. It doesn't have a set meaning. You don't have to be an aspiring Philippine representative or an aspiring Philippine queen to find a resonance within the song. It's actually really appropriate. Now it's June, it's Philippine Independence Month, but it's also Pride Month, and I feel that RYF can also lend its messaging to pride, to advocating, to even standing up for someone. So that's what I'm really proud about, the messaging of RYF.
That's right, and it's not just the it's not just the lyrics. It's also the song. It's very it's upbeat. It's something that you can actually listen to every day, like when you wake up. And this is your anthem. So to everyone here, yeah, raise your flag isn't just about nationalism. It's really about you raising your flag, because who else would carry the flag, right?
Exactly, or raising your voice. I mean, it doesn't need to be a literal interpretation of a flag, but it's really about just an action of elevating something, standing up for something, speaking out.
That's right. Well, Kat, for this song, what was the collaboration process like? At least for this new version. So how did you work on it? And did you actually look for sample tracks for it? So can you share more about that?
I mean, it was a challenge coming into the recording of the song, because I felt like Casey and Rico did such an amazing job with the first version. It was something that I was very flattered about when the song first came to be, because it was inspired by my journey, and to think that my journey is also obviously a personal endeavor of mine, but to see it being transformed into music in a way that people are able to relate to its messaging and things throughout my journey was a really fulfilling experience. And then to be given the opportunity to then interpret it myself was, again, very special. And we actually recorded this back in 2020, the first quarter of 2020. That's how long the song has been waiting to be shared with the world. It just so happened that our timeline didn't really play out the way that we thought it would with the pandemic and everything that happened, but I'm really happy that it's finally come out now. I feel like the message is as relevant as ever compared to last year. This year, I feel like the message is still something that everyone's saying it's resonating with them, which makes me incredibly proud. But it was a wonderful experience, because I was given the opportunity to really put my heart into a lyric that was really inspired by things that I said. So it's kind of funny, because usually if you come into a song, you're the first person to say the lyric, but it's like I said the lyric out loud in my pageant journey, and it was interpreted into a song, and then I interpreted the song.
That's right. Yeah. So it's like it's so meta, and then it comes full circle as well with your own rendition.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty amazing journey. So yes, actually, everyone here on the chat is saying we're proud of you, and this song is almost one of the time. So it is an anthem it seems. There.
Thank you.
So, Kat, you mentioned that yes, June is Independence Month, and I want to talk a bit about nationalism because you are one of the country's most visible representative. You're our your ambassador, and so like in this age of social media, because I've seen you do this as well. Some people try this via use of hashtags, these campaigns and so on. From your perspective, do you see that there's a difference? Is this making an impact?
I think it definitely is because we have to acknowledge that a lot of millennials and Gen Z, their main access point of media is social media. It's not TV anymore, and since we're all practically isolated in our homes, it's really our window to the world. And so it's nice to see how different organizations, government bodies, and different individuals and communities are really utilizing social media to show national identity, whether it be in the form of a product or music or something visual. Because yes, there is that aspect of what about the actual tradition? Are we supporting the actuality of what we're promoting, or are we just using a hashtag? But I guess you could also argue how can you support if there's no awareness? So it really goes hand in hand. And I think just empowering people to go out and support local business or go out and educate themselves, give them the resources to learn about our history, about our culture, our national identity. I think you just have to go that extra effort to provide them the actual resource as well as the awareness, which is usually done through a social media campaign or a hashtag.
Well said, and I could really see that kind of impact. And you're right. It's really social media that we act and we consume content nowadays. So that's very spot on. Which is why we always follow what you post on your socials. So there. And you recently had a milestone as well with your followers. I think that was just yesterday. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. It's crazy to think 12 million, and I just hit 7 million on Facebook today. It's really insane because I don't know more than 1,000 people personally. But it goes to show just how much responsibility I feel that I have to put out material on my platforms that is able to contribute in some way to my audience. So that's why I really love using visual tools like videos and photos to showcase our culture, just like we're talking about. It's Philippine Independence Month. I do a little bit of series to show like different products being made in the Philippines or even try to show Filipino fashion. And it's my small way of promoting Philippines. And of course, since we can't really show the locations, but it gives me a lot of joy to be able to give an approachable and relatable element of allowing people to celebrate Philippines and its culture. And while we're here, thanks to everyone who's tuning in. I know that you're watching on Kumu, on Facebook. We really appreciate that you guys are taking the time out of your day to spend time with us on Metro Chats. And also for a shout out to all of those of you who have been following along with my media guesting through the last couple of days. And Georgette is back.
Yes. Hello, I'm back. Thanks for that, Kat. You're such a pro. So easy to pick up. And I hope your internet connection is much better there in Australia.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, and such a pro. And Julie says, "So quick, Kat." So yeah. Okay. So everyone who's watching, please send your questions. I can read some of them later if we have more time. So just keep sending your questions, and we'll check them out. All right. So Kat, okay, all over the world, Filipinos have been making waves. Like Yuka Sason earlier. Yuka Sason earlier. she just had her U.S. Open victory. There are a lot of other trailblazers. So, what's it like to represent the country in the global stage? Do you constantly feel the need to explain to your, to everyone what where the Philippines is, and talk about like some of the misconceptions about Filipino culture? Does that still happen to you?
Um, Usually when I meet people and they discover that I'm Filipino or I'm from the Philippines, their usual main talking point is the beaches or how nice our people are. Because usually their interactions with Filipinos who are either OFWs or what they've experienced when they've perhaps traveled to the Philippines. I've heard so many positive experiences, which makes me very proud. They um, refer us as very likable people, very pleasant, respectful, and accommodating and hospitable. I've never really had to defend my country from a misconception of a bad attitude or a bad trait that hasn't yet happened to me. And I guess that's saying a lot because I've met so many people during my reign as Miss Universe as a Filipino. I think that's really a testament to how we are as people.
Right, and that's good as well because constantly we keep shaping perception about the Philippines, and like what they're saying as well. You are our best endorser for the country, right? To there. Okay, we also appreciate how you love playing around with Filipino fashion. So, we want to know, like, is there a method to your choice of clothing? So, are there clues that we can pick up from your choice of accessories or fabrics?
Well,
Yeah, how do you
I don't
choose
really
it?
have a method to it per se. Like if I like the textile or I like the cut or the silhouette, it'll usually be all yeses for me. The thing that gives me a sense of joy and also in sharing it is learning the story behind the textile or behind the silhouette or behind the origin of the design. That I brought that along with me as I competed in Miss Universe and also during my reign, and can still continue to try and advocate for that because it is a beautiful thing. Like fashion is beautiful to look at, but I feel what gives an appreciation is knowing the tradition behind the technique, how it's being passed down generation to generation, the way that it's created, what maybe the pattern represents for those people who created it, or what is its symbolism. That's something that gives me a lot of joy, and I really love being able to showcase that on my forms and give it an even deeper layer to what Filipino fashion is.
Yeah, I love that because you don't just talk about the design. It's also like the symbolism, the meaning behind the design. And when you
Yeah.
talk about textile, when you talk about weaving, a lot of that comes into play. Like there are certain fabrics that aren't meant actually to be worn. They're only used for mourning or for some special occasions as well. So
Yeah.
a lot
Or
of
there's even limitations
intricacies.
on how you can wear a certain fabric. Like binala, for example, you're not allowed to wear it near the ground or on your feet because it's very revered for them and it's a traditional clothing that they have. So it's just good to be mindful about things like that when you're celebrating Filipino fashion. It's all in the name of respect to the original owners or creators of that textile.
Wow. All right. So we'll be keeping track of that. And I think on our social media as well, you share some of the tidbits about what you're wearing, some of a
Mm-hmm.
bit of history about it as well. So we
Yeah.
can learn a lot just from surfing Catriona's social media pages.
Yeah, it's incredibly empowering too because through my travels around the Philippines, I've also discovered that a lot of our textile is created by women. Like, it's really the women who are creating the materials who pass it down from women to women generation. And now, actually, these days, you're seeing that men are now being taught the tradition of weaving. And I think it's so interesting because that's really how women have supported their families or supported their culture throughout the years. It's very, very cool to learn.
All right. So, okay. So I want to play play this super quick game or exercise with you because in Metro we have a current campaign which we call which is the Makolahiko. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's about experiencing Filipino culture through the senses. So